Why do so many parents avoid talking about money at home? And how is it silently harming the kids? Because, most of the kids are not aware of uh, what's
Correct,
happening in the family.
correct. Very, very valid and very important question, because in fact, I have been trying to tell this only to parents, because we as parents, we have a lot of mindsets. One is, I don't want my child to suffer that I did as a child. So we try to overprotect them or over pamper them, buy them anything and everything they ask for. We don't imbibe them the value of, the money, the hard work behind earning that 1 rupee. We just show them, give everything, so they grow up not valuing the money, and as adults they also will do the same thing. And there are some people who think that kids will not understand, they are too young. But from my workshops and all, I feel they are much faster learners than we as adults. When I teach some adults about finance management, it's like, I know this, but do they practice? No, they don't. Whereas a child, they are so enthusiastic that they will learn. This fact we totally ignore. So parents think that I should not give that, like suffering to my child, or they think that they are too young to understand. So we should come out and start talking and treat them as adults, because they will grow into adults, because they come up with brilliant ideas. I can give some example. When I was teaching the child, about earning ways, small
Mhm.
small ways, like doing some running errands to your parents, grandparents and all, he came up with something that he's doing, and I was totally amazed. He loves this puppet shows, like, so what he does, he creates some storyboard, he creates that puppet and he charges tickets to his family members. So that is the kind of, and he was hardly 9-year-old. For a 9-year-old to think of selling tickets and earning is something which any adult would not be. I mean, I would not have thought about that in my young age. I was saving, but my saving was different. I used to save money, and my brother was going to job, and he will come up with like, I don't have money now, and then I'll give money to my brother and say, you have to give back with some interest, and then he will give back. That is the kind of barter system that we have. Children are so good; they know to take risk, they know to, everything. So that is what I thought the parents' mistake. I mean, the mistakes that parents are doing is this: they
Mhm.
think they are too young to learn anything, but they are not.
Right. So, what is the most surprising thing a child has ever told you during this learning phase from you about money that it made you to rethink about when you were listening to the child?
See, there was one incident where one child was saying that I don't want money. I was like surprised. Why at this young age any kid will say I don't want money? So just going a little, trying to probe a little, and then ask him. He says, there is always a fight at home. I want this, that. Why did you spend on this? All those fights that is happening. I think it is all because of money, and I don't want money because money causes fight. See, that thought was something seeded in that young mind, that money is a cause of something negative. And this is because adults are I mean, children learn from what adults do. And we in family, if we are trying to, show our insecure feelings around money, children also grow. Will that be because, and as usual, in Indian society we have a stigma that we should not aim for money. Talking about money is evil, all those, the middle class symptoms, that the moral values and all, which is given as a mindset. So when this child told that, no, I was really shaken, because I felt bad. If that is what our parents are going to teach us, then how will we grow as confident young people? So
Absolutely. And I truly feel that, this kind of limiting beliefs where, child is going through that experiences in the family, it can be deep rooted in that child's mind, and it can truly hamper the confidence and the kind of a future the child is wanting to create, but he will always hesitate by doing so.
hmm, correct.
Yeah. All right. So moving to the next question. uh, in schools, if schools taught money the way you teach, what would change in India in next 10 years? And what do you think about the current education system that we already have? uh, what is your take on this?
See, as a long-term vision, our our prime minister want us to reach top in by 2047. Uh, as a developed nation, financially, everything. And when young child, when they grow up, they will be the actual working force and that adults who are managing the whole economy of our country. If they are financially aware, financially literate, financially strong mindset and all, and they know how to manage things, we will have a better, stronger society. So, see, when children, it is a, I mean, everybody knows compounding has a good effect on money. But how many of us start early? Maybe you and me, I would have started, investing and growing my money only by late 20s or early 30s. That is all. But if I had started a little earlier, where will I be now?
Yeah.
So that compounding effect will be very good because the children who would have in school learned about financial management, they would have developed a good mindset. They know the risk, they know how to manage their tax, they know they should not fall into credit traps or anything like that. They know how to budget. They will face the world without any fear. I mean, for them, that financial stress is not going to be there. So they will start investing, say, from early 20s. And imagine in 2047, we will definitely be a good, number one in the world, for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right. Uh, so you are also a success and transformation coach, right? Uh, how does emotional stability impact money decisions?
This is a nice question. Actually, this is something many of us would not have thought about. This was like a very good thought process from your end, actually, because we have seen people binge eating when they are emotionally stressed out or they are
Yeah.
sad or something. Same thing applies to finance also. Because
Mm.
when we are in stress, when we are in fear, we take lot of impulsive decisions which are not going to help the financial health, like
Mhm.
how eating when you're sad is going to impact your physical health. Spending, the impulsive spending, the bad loans that we take, and the loan over loan, to close this loan we take another loan, to close the other loan we take, like we have credit cards, to close that credit card we take a personal loan which has a higher interest rate, and it
Mhm.
goes on, we fall into a trap. So that is going to impact our financial health. So it's not just about, we should take care of our emotional health to take care of our physical and financial health, is what I feel.
Great, great. So the next question I have for you is, what's that one financial habit children learn by observing parents, even when the parents don't say a word?
We, I mean, this, I'll not be able to tell one specific thing because we all know children, when we teach them, they're not going to learn. But when they learn by seeing us, so anything that we do, they are going to see us and observe and learn. If we are somebody who's, like constantly aware of, one small difference I'll tell you. Now I'm going to purchase, say, a mobile phone. So
Mm.
what do? I visit either two different or three different shops. I compare prices. I visit Amazon, Flipkart, and all these online shoppings and see where the best deal is there. So when the child sees, they know that we are valuing that money and we are comparing. So the money value is taught without even uttering. So similarly, when we do so many other aspects, instead, if you are going to say the child is going to ask for something, and we say, no, don't buy that. We don't have money. They will see that and observe that money is something, the lack of money is something that is stopping them. They don't know that uh, that doll probably was not the toy which that kid wanted to buy, was just a want, it need not have been a need. So when we teach them that you wait, we can buy that later, we will save for it, you make that child responsible for that, and by the time he saves that money, he would have realized that that toy was not a necessity. So maybe they will value that money. So we should teach them not in the negative manner, but leading as an example.
Awesome, awesome. So, Lata, I'm going to have a few quick rapid fire questions for you. Okay, and I really want you to answer them rapidly. So, the first question I have for you is one financial rule you never break in your life.
One financial rule I don't break in my life. I don't spend on simple living is what I always feel. Minimalistic living. So I don't go beyond my limits.
One myth you wish would disappear forever.
That money grows on trees.
I think it's a
Actually,
big
money
one.
has to grow. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Okay. If money was a person, how would you describe its personality?
It's a loving guest that wants to come to your house. So if you're going to talk wrong about that person, they're not going to stay with you. Always speak good about that person, they will stay with you. Don't have
Awesome.
negative mindset. I simply want to tell that. Don't say money is evil. Say money is good, because when I earn money, I can even do service. If you're not interested, at least do that service.
Great. If you could gift every child in India one life skill, what would that be?
I'm from a financial literacy background, so I will speak about financial literacy only, because that makes them to grow as a confident person. They are not afraid of either lack of money or more money. They know how to remain calm and confident.
Awesome. One book that has completely changed your approach to a money or your mindset shift, which you want even others to read about it.
I would suggest Rich Dad Poor Dad, because even a child will be able to understand that, because there the money mindset is taught in a very elaborate manner with lot of examples, because that goes from the author's childhood to their adulthood, so they learn quickly.
Yes, I think that is one of my favorite book as well. So yes, thank you for sharing that. Um, I still have few questions for you. So, what is your take that one mistake most parents make when teaching kids about saving, and how do you want it to be corrected?
Um, I've explained a little of this in previous of our discussion, where I told that we have to lead as an example. If
Hmm.
I'm not leading, because children watch us and grow, so I have to set myself as an example. So make yourself financially literate, make yourself with a positive mindset towards money. That should help them. um, don't develop any of those negative mindset,
Great.
and
Uh,
read a lot of these books. Rich Dad Poor Dad is good for a young child as well as to the young child in us as adults.
Absolutely, absolutely. Uh, if you could redesign childhood education, what's that one powerful life skill you would add immediately, and why?
I will speak about financial decision making, because once we learn about the finance management and the money mindset, etc., our financial decision making is going to be quicker without any fear. We will not speak about adding, multiplication, all those things. Anyway, they are reading in mathematics. But financial literacy is not about numbers either. It is a holistic attitude of our mindset and our knowledge of money. So that is what I would like to change by teaching them about money to help them make better financial decisions. And see, let us be very practical. When we earn money, we spend immediately. Instead, if we start thinking of saving first and then spending, one thing is like, that is what we are teaching. So this will help them to budget their income that is coming. They will now save and then invest. They will borrow safely. They will know that they will be able to borrow only for good things, or the needed things. I'll not say good or bad. because it's all about need and want. So they know about need and want. They will avoid scams, because now I am also teaching about all these in my if you follow my social media, like Instagram for the example, I teach them about the financial scams that are happening around us. So we will not fall for all those scams because we know how to remain safe. And overall, it will help them to build a disciplined life, which is very essential for our life as such. So
Great, great. Would you like to tell us about the work you do, the community you serve, and your vision and mission as what is that you're holding towards it?
see, I teach. I'm a banking professional, so I'm a trainer in corporates. I teach them about the banking, the soft skills, about banking, finance, insurance, everything, and that is as part of my career as such. But for my passion, I teach financial literacy for children, teens, and then I have like life skills, life lessons for our mid-career professionals. So I make it very simple and relatable way. I don't use all these jargons, all those things, like generally in coaching, when you go, you start receiving lot of gyan, but that
Yeah,
gyan, it remains here. We don't practice it. It could be out of fear or out of overwhelm or anything. So to get out of that, I teach them in a very simple practicable way, which I can you and me can relate in our own life. So my mission is to help families as such to break the fear of the cycle of fear, confusion and silence that is happening around money. And I want at least 1 lakh young Indians to grow up to be confident, responsible, and financially independent, so that we are in tune with our Prime Minister's vision of 2047.
absolutely. And more power to you and to your vision. May you inspire more and more families. May you inspire more and more young minds. So, wishing you lots of success towards your work. Before we wrap up, Lata, I have one question for you. What is that one message you want every parent listening to remember, not just about money, but about rising a confident human being in their families? And these days we see there's so much of stress, anxiousness for small little things, competition. What is that one piece of advice would you like to share with the listeners today?
See, I want young parents to lead as an example. Uh, we should grow with that value system of freedom, family, and service. Spend a lot of time with your children, family. Show your bright side, because life is full of little things, little joys. Enjoy that. Uh, so when you enjoy, you are showing your children also to enjoy life. Life is not a war or a race. All those things may be a management ideas, but life is to enjoy. That is the basic thing. All animals are enjoying. Of course, everybody will have pressure in terms of education, career, everything. But let us not bring that into family life. Let us live a freedom, a life, lead a life of choices.
Great, thank you for sharing that. Thank you so much, Lata, for being here today, for sharing your valuable insights, and it was lovely interacting with you.
Same here, Anu. I was very happy to interact with you, because, and thank you for giving me the space where I can share my thoughts. Like I hope it reaches at least it impacts few at least, and that is what I want.
Absolutely. So, the idea of having this podcast is to inspire one woman, and I truly believe that one woman's get that inspiration, the whole family circumstances changes. Because when the energy of a woman changes, the energy of the house, the environment completely changes. So, yeah, so thank you once again for being here today and contributing to this one step of, inspiring people across.
100% I agree to what you said, because women are the anchor of a family, and when that person is healthy in mind, in body, that family is going to be very healthy. So one appeal to the women who watch this podcast: take care of yourself. Self care is very very important.
Yes.
Only when you take care of yourself, you will be able to take good care of your family. So
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that nuggets, Lata. Thank you very much.
thank you so much.
If you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my podcast and share it with your friends and family, one woman at a time. I'm on a mission to build a community of a thriving women. Thank you very much for taking your time to listening to this podcast, and I'll see you in the next show. Now go out there and do something that truly inspires you.